The midpoint of anything is never easy, whether be it a journey, be it a job, school, or even life. Why is this so? It's because at the middle of anything, there is that tendency for you to feel tired, for you to feel overwhelmed, for you to feel exhausted. Yes, the body and the mind becomes weak, and then you feel like giving up, you feel like slowing down. It happens to every single one of us. But I want to give you a word of encouragement this morning that you don't have to give in to that feeling. You can fight it and push harder, because when you push harder, at the end of that journey, at the end of that rope, is success lying just ahead, waiting for you to take hold of it. So this morning, I want you not to give in to your feelings, but to push harder, for success is ahead. Good morning and welcome to the midweek edition of your favorite breakfast starter, done on VOS TV. Yes, the show where we bring you latest updates on stories that matter to you. I am Felicia Udeji, and I have a gentle Delta man with me in the studio this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing good.
Edo woman.
Yes, so we're repping.
Not be lie. I know rappers.
It's all right.
How are you? Hope
I'm
you slept
good.
well.
I did.
It's evident. Good morning, our dear viewers. As usual, it's good to have you join us this beautiful Wednesday morning. How are you doing? I hope you are doing fine. And I believe you are doing fine. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned as we take you through the stories that's making wave, and also the discussion, the topic of discussion for today, this morning. Thank you for joining us once again.
Indeed, thank you so much for joining us this beautiful Wednesday morning. And we would love you to be a part of this conversation by doing just 3 very simple things. Yes, doing me a favor. Number 1, hit that like button on your screen. Wow, what are you waiting for? Use your hand, tap, tap, tap it. And number 2, yes, do well to share this video with your loved ones, with your friends, on your WhatsApp group, on your different pages. Let them know that Dawn on VOS TV is live across Facebook and on YouTube. And the third thing, be a part of the conversation, because these are stories that matter to you that we bring here, and let us know which of the stories that we are talking about really interest you. We would love to know.
Exactly. The most interesting part of it is that the conversation is always engaging. You can use the comment section to lend your voice to the topic of discuss. Any of the stories that appeal to you, lend your voice to them. So we also get to read your comments to our audience, our viewers out there.
Yes, indeed, we'll get to read your comments. And speaking about stories, this morning I'm taking you all the way to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where a video has been trending of a 36-year-old woman who was locked in a room for more than a year by her own brother. Let's take a look at the video.
Sorry, the freedom must go. No, wait. You don't scatter. See the leg.
You said 2 years you are here. 2 years. 2 years. Can you imagine? Huh?
Now, wow.
What did they use the bathroom? Which bath? Which bath, Oga? Oga, which bath?
I'm not getting the shit for it. This guy will go hospital first.
I knew the time you brought this girl.
He bring the key out.
So many plenty kids there.
Yes, that's the video, dehumanizing video of Mrs. Grace Anyokuoku, who was locked, chained in a room by her brother Chinedu Okuoku for more than a year. According to the woman, the brother deprived her of seeing sunlight for more than 1 year. He took her children away from her and he held her in that room. And you can see how lean looking the woman is, Jude. Like, the woman is so lean, like her hair is overgrown. Her neck, I cannot even describe how lean she is, like a stick of broom. A bunch of broom is even thicker than her, looking at the video. Like, who does that to his own sister?
You know, it speaks volume of man's inhumanity to man, the level of man's inhumanity to man. These are people who lack conscience. Anyone who can, you know, go to that length and you shame a human being, even slaves. There are sometimes those who know,
Back
who
in
are
the days.
yes, back in the days, they still allow them to have some freedom. Do you understand? But shaming someone in a room,
A dark room.
for 2 good years, I think there is need to take action against the perpetrator. You know, to serve as deterrence, no matter the level of crime that person committed. I mean, that's punishment is unjustifiable, not justified. The person is not the cost. If the person commits a crime, you know the appropriate authority to take he or her to.
And not locking them.
Yes, locking her in a room. If the person committed a crime, report the person to the police. If it's something that you know you cannot let go of, you report the person to the police arrest the person, and the person is charged to court. The court decides the punishment that should be commensurate to the crime committed.
Well,
not you
thankfully.
taking law into your hands. I mean, we don't even know what the crime the person committed at this point.
Well, investigations are currently ongoing. Right now, the brother has been arrested by the men of the FCT command. But however...
That's a step in the right direction. He
Yes.
should be questioned. He should be made to face the wrath of the law. That's dehumanizing. You meet such level of dehumanizing treatment on a fellow human.
Your sister.
Even an animal.
Your blood sister.
Your blood sister. Even an animal. That's still dehumanizing. That's still
Then
dehumanizing.
another angle I want to look at. This is a woman who has been there for more than a year. And it was just on June 12th that somebody made a distress call to the police to alert them. That was how they recovered. Like, how do these things go on without their neighbors knowing for so long?
That's another another question that we should ask. Could it be that his mouth was sealed?
Her mouth.
Yeah, her mouth rather
Okay.
was sealed, and she couldn't scream out.
Shout.
Yes, for people to know that such horrible crime is playing out there. Those are some of the questions that need to be. We just await the police to investigate and come out with what's actually transpired.
Indeed.
True picture of what transpired.
Indeed. And for you watching us, I would like to know, because right now in my mind I'm wondering what kind of punishment would be commensurate for such a man who would do this kind of crime to his own sister. Would like you to be a part of this conversation, for you to share your thoughts on the story, and of course also share your thoughts on what kind of punishment should be commensurate for him. And with that, we move over to the next segment of the show, which is the newspaper review segment, looking at top stories making rounds across newspaper dailies. Stay with us after this short break. All right, thank you for rejoining us. It is still your perfect breakfast starter dawn on VOS TV. And we'll be kickstarting our first major newspaper from the Vanguard newspaper, looking at the stories. From the very top, this one says Dangote refinery lowers petrol price by 75 naira per litre as oil falls by 5%. That's a good one from Dangote. This other one says troop rescues 398 kidnapped victims, arrests 31 terrorists, neutralizes 10. Okay, that story is found on page 6. And the next story just by the side, worry delineation Shekiri faults Ijo Urobo interpretation of Tinubu's intervention. Shekiri faulty Joe Urobo interpretation of Tinubu's intervention. That story is found on page 12 of the Vanguard. And just by the side is our very own Senator Adams Oshomole, as daggers drawn over Natasha's 6 months suspension. So we are all abreast. Okay, for those that are not abreast of the story, a lot has been happening between our honorable senator and the Senate president, talking about Godswill Akpabio, where Senator Adams accused him of being suspicious of him. And he also came out to say that some signatures that were signed in Natasha's suspension were forged by the Senate president. This is the drama currently going on in the Nigerian Senate. Okay, now still moving on to other stories. The big story on the Vanguard this morning says relief for ADC, other parties, as appeal court stops deregistration. The writers there says blast trial judge Lefiu over judicial rascality. INEC backs stay of execution. Opposition alleges plots to silence rivals. Olawakbo, Ashim, Adebayo, Accord, CNPP, Ame, Ajolu speak. Justice Lefiu declines to hand off ADC case. Others mark Aregbesola to pay 1 million naira fine. So that's the big story this morning. And other stories on the Vanguard: gunmen attack NIPSS in Plateau, kill 2 soldiers, 1 policeman. And just beneath that story, proposed plastic ban could trigger deindustrialization. Job losses, says Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. So there's a proposed ban to ban plastic. And according to the Manufacturers Association, this could actually lead to job losses and deindustrialization, whereby industries are no longer able to operate effectively. What do you think about the ban? Do you think it's something that is a welcomed one, or it's something, according to NAN, is a threat to our jobs? Then the last story I'll be taking from the Vanguard this morning: federal government moves to end open grazing, identifies 470 gazetted reserve. The federal government are making move to end open grazing. We all know about the farmers herders clash that has been on for years. So do you think this is a good development for Nigeria? Let us know in the comments. And coming to the studio, Jude, let's start off with Dangote's refinery bringing down petrol price by 75 naira. Have you maybe noticed any changes in the price of fuel price recently from fuel stations around?
It was recently the reduction was made, so we're still observing if those dispensing will comply. So, but for now, I haven't actually noticed any. Well, when I was coming, some were dispensing at the same price they were dispensing earlier, prior to this reduction by Dangote. So we just expect that they will implement it.
Okay, looking at the fact that a lot of times drivers complain that even if the price of petrol comes down from Dangote's end and the NNPC, that fuel stations find it difficult to comply. They always argue that, they bought at old price, so they cannot reduce. How do you think we can implement, or government can implement, this compliance?
And that calls for, stricter regulatory mechanisms to checkmate their operations. Because if it has been reduced and you are still selling at increased price, that's extortion. That's extortion. So we expect that those, saddled with responsibility of checkmating their activities, the regulatory bodies will go out there and monitor if these petrol stations, fuel stations, they are complying with directives. I have seen a situation where some of fuel stations have been sealed for, flouting the price.
Recently?
Yes, not recently. It's in time past. So that can also be brought, into limelight once again.
Alright.
Because there is actually need to cushion the effects of exponential hike on the common man there. So if those at the top, they are bringing it down, we expect that the middle,
The middlemen, the
yes,
marketers will also bring
they
it.
should also ensure that they bring it down for the common man to feel a sense of belonging.
All right, thank you. Then another issue will now be for the commercial drivers, if they will bring down their transport fares.
Yes, that is another issue. And for the commercial drivers out there, you barely see them reduce prices when, even if the prices of fuel are reduced, you still see commercial drivers the same price they've been charging before now. That is what they still charge.
Well, they
So
argue
all of
that
these-
fuel is just one factor. They have, when it comes to oil, repair of cars, repair of their vehicles, maintenance, all those are other factors that contribute.
And it's commercial drivers, it's the commuters' money you want to use to take care of all of that. I mean, let's be human in our decisions. That's the most important. Let us be human.
I love that. Let's be human. In as much as we are trying to make ends meet, let's also consider that this person could be your brother, it could be your sister, and the weight is not easy on any Nigerian right now when it comes to spending. Okay, just before we move over to our next newspaper, I want us to touch on this story a little because I know this is the topic of conversation this morning. Appeal court, yes, putting a stop to the deregistration of ADC and the other political parties. And according to one of the writers, they says that the trial judge was blasted for being judicially rascal.
Yes, I saw the story, and it's a good development that it will be our topic of discourse, and we expect that the legal personnel, or rather the legal practitioner, will be having on the program will do justice to the issue. On the other hand, the beauty of democracy is when you have different political parties and the ballots, and the people decide which one is qualified, who is fit to govern. But when judges, when the court now becomes a dictator to decide which political party should be on the ballot or not by removing some, then there are questions that should be asked.
Interesting. Lots and lots of
These
questions.
are some of the questions we expect that the legal practitioner who will be our guest this morning
will help us to answer. All right, thank you so much, Jude. And of course, I am sure that you also have questions. You're watching us this morning, so you can also be a part of this conversation by using the comment section. All right, quickly, let's move over to our next newspaper, The Guardian newspaper. And from the big story there says, digital adoption leaves 300 local governments stranded, dependent on POS agent. So simply what the story is saying that in many rural communities, there are no banks. Banks are now more concentrated in the center and leaving this community without banks. So you see, like in Edo State that we have 18 local governments, a lot of them do not have banks, and residents, they have to depend on POS agents. And you and I know how exorbitant the charges can be at times. So this is what this report is talking about. All right, let's touch on other stories. This one here says, I'm ready to risk my life for the release of Oriri abductees. Who is making that statement? It's coming from the Oyo State governor, who is saying he's ready to put his life at risk in order to release the abducted Oyo students and teachers. Moving on to our next story on page 3 says, Gencos raise concern over fresh 1 trillion naira debt, decry 2.376 trillion naira stranded power. This other story just by the side says, petrol remains 1,350 naira per litre in Abuja amid crashing oil prices. Dangote effect 75 naira quote. Okay, that's just what we're talking about. So this story is telling us, it's a report from The Guardian, that after going around a lot of fuel stations still have not changed their petrol prices. Then this other story just below the big story says Atiku, Mark-led opposition pushback as appeal court holds party deregistration. And the final I'll be taking from the Guardian this morning is from Osun State, coming from the governor, Governor Adeleke. It says we won't bow to forces of darkness and intimidation. That one is coming from Governor Adeleke. And let me just touch on this. Senate denies Oshomole's forgery allegation over Natasha's suspension. All right, Jude. You know about the ongoing drama in the Senate, so I just wanted to speak to it just a little.
You know, it's one thing I must commend Oshomole, Senator Adams Oshomole, former governor of Edo State and the current senator representing Edo North Senatorial District for. One thing I will commend him for is vocal. He's very vocal. He speaks truth to power, irrespective of whose or his ghost. And that's the beauty of it. Now, concerning his allegation that there was forgery of signature, you know, to effect the suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan. That speaks volume. I won't take side until proper investigation is done, because you understand the journalistic principle of auditing terrain pattern, hear from the other side.
Yes.
So we must hear from the other side.